You've been doing so well. The silence has been your sanctuary, your shield against the chaos they brought into your life. And then, just when you think you've found your peace, just when you've started to rebuild yourself from the ground up, they appear. A text at 2 a.m., a casual comment on your social media, an unexpected call that makes your heart race in ways you thought you'd forgotten. Why do they always come back? And more importantly, why do they always come back at the exact moment you've finally started to move on? I'm going to tell you the real reason they return after no contact, but first you need to understand something that will completely change how you see this pattern. Because what I'm about to reveal isn't just about them coming back, it's about why they always seem to have perfect timing, and why understanding this timing will protect you from making the same mistake twice. But before we get to the psychology behind their return, there's something even more crucial you need to know. There's a hidden signal you've been sending without realizing it, a signal that acts like a beacon calling them back to you. And if you don't understand this signal, you'll keep attracting the same pattern over and over again. Let's start with what you already know. You went no contact for a reason. Maybe they betrayed your trust, maybe they took you for granted, maybe they simply couldn't give you what you needed, and every conversation became a reminder of your own diminishing self-worth. So, you made the hardest decision of all. You chose yourself. You walked away. The first few weeks were brutal. Your phone felt heavy in your pocket, not because of calls you were receiving, but because of calls you weren't making. You found yourself reaching for their contact, then stopping. You drafted messages you never sent. But here's what you didn't realize was happening during those first weeks. While you were grieving, while you were processing, while you were struggling with the silence, you were actually in the safest phase of no contact. Because during this phase, you were still energetically connected to them. You were still thinking about them constantly, still hoping they'd reach out, still checking their social media. And during this phase, they felt secure. They felt your energy still focused on them, even from a distance. They knew you were still emotionally invested, still hoping, still waiting. So they didn't need to do anything. They could explore other options, live their life, knowing you were still there in the background. But then something shifted. And this shift is the key to understanding everything. Slowly, something beautiful started to happen. You began to remember who you were before them. You started doing things that made you happy, not things that made them happy. You reconnected with friends you'd neglected. You pursued interests you'd abandoned. You looked in the mirror and saw potential instead of problems. And that's exactly when they sensed it. That's when they felt the shift in the universe that told them you were slipping away for real this time. But here's the part most people don't understand. The part that explains their seemingly perfect timing. They didn't come back because they missed you. They came back because they felt you stopped missing them. Think about it. When did they reach out? Was it right after you posted that photo where you looked genuinely happy? Was it the day after you went on that date you mentioned to a mutual friend? Was it when you stopped checking if they'd seen your stories, stopped caring whether they missed you or not? They didn't come back because they realized your worth. They came back because they realized you were realizing your worth. And that realization triggered something primal in them, something that has nothing to do with love and everything to do with control. But understanding why they come back is only half the equation. The other half is understanding what they're actually offering when they return, because this determines whether you're about to step into a beautiful reunion or repeat the same painful cycle. This is where it gets complicated, where your heart starts to betray your logic, because part of you, the part that still remembers how good it felt when things were good, wants to believe they've changed. Part of you wants to believe that your absence taught them lessons, that the silence made them appreciate what they lost. But here's what really happened during your time apart, and this is crucial for you to understand if you want to avoid repeating the same pattern. While you were growing, healing, learning to love yourself again, they were living their life exactly as they always had. They might have missed you, sure, but missing someone and being ready to treat them better are two completely different things. And here's the kicker. They're not just coming back because they miss you. They're coming back because they've tested the waters elsewhere and found them lacking. You were safe. You were predictable. You were the one who always gave them the benefit of the doubt, who always believed in their potential rather than accepting their reality. And now that they've been reminded that not everyone will do that, they want to come home to the comfort of your understanding. But there's something even deeper happening here, something that reveals the true nature of their return. They reached out now because they're comfortable, because enough time has passed that they've forgotten why you left, because they've convinced themselves that whatever went wrong between you was just a misunderstanding, a rough patch, something that time has magically healed. They're not returning as a changed person. They're returning as someone who believes you've had enough time to get over whatever they did wrong. And this brings us to the most important part, the part that will determine whether their return becomes a blessing or a curse in your life. So what do you do now? How do you handle this return that feels like both an answered prayer and a trap? First, you need to understand that your response in the next 48 hours will set the tone for everything that follows. Are you dropping everything to accommodate their return? Are you immediately available, immediately understanding, immediately ready to pick up where you left off? Or are you maintaining the boundaries and self-respect you've built during your time apart? Because here's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that your time apart has made you so grateful for their attention that you'll accept less than you deserve just to have them back. They're hoping that your healing has made you more understanding, not more discerning. But here's what you need to know about how to respond, because this will determine whether you step forward or backward in your journey. Remember why you left. Not the surface reasons, not the final fight that broke the camel's back, but the deeper reasons. Remember how you felt in that relationship day after day. Remember the version of yourself you became when you were trying to make it work. Don't let the excitement of their return erase the pain of their departure. If they've truly changed, if they're truly ready to build something better with you, they'll be willing to prove it. They'll be patient with your hesitation. They'll understand that trust needs to be rebuilt, not just resumed. If they haven't changed, if they're just nostalgic or lonely or testing their options, they'll be frustrated by your standards. They'll rush you to forgive and forget. They'll make you feel like you're being difficult for not immediately welcoming them back with open arms. Your response to their return is not about them. It's about you. It's about whether you're going to honor the work you've done on yourself, whether you're going to protect the peace you've created, whether you're going to choose yourself again, even when choosing yourself feels harder than choosing them. They came back because they sensed you were truly moving on. Now you get to decide whether their return is a step forward or a step backward in your journey. The power is yours. The choice is yours. The life you've built without them is yours. Don't give it up unless they're offering something better than what you've already created for yourself.